Did you know that several celebrities who have been voted as the sexiest men in the world won't be that sexy anymore once they get rid of their hair? I chose the top 3 of them who wouldn't have been where they are today without their hair because they just cannot pull it off as great as The Rock or Jason Statham. Now, I'm not a regular reader of People's Magazine, but these are the guys who are running the sexiest men in the world competition every year since 1985. Hollywood celebrities who are in their prime in terms of their acting or singing career or in terms of their looks are being voted on by people who are regularly reading the People's Magazine. And they have quite a big reach actually of about 90 millions of people every single month. So if you want to find out who are the top 3 sexiest men alive who actually don't look so sexy without hair, make sure you stay tuned. And before we start with the video, as always, shout out to our sponsor GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out, see if you like them. Alright, starting out with the top 3. It's gonna be the Canadian actor Ryan Gosling. He has been awarded the title, but for personal reasons he decided to refuse it. We can definitely see why he was voted as the best or one of the best that year. During that time he was also playing in this movie.
You're sitting there with a Supercuts haircut, you're getting drunk on watered down vodka cranberries like a 14-year-old girl.
Where he was playing this really confident, charming, and also alpha male type of character, and he was able to pull it off very well. Now in this movie obviously he has hair and it suits him very well. However, once he decided to buzz his hair short, we noticed that it doesn't make his face stand out as much anymore. And in spite of having almost perfectly spread out facial third ratios, there are 2 things about his skull shape that just don't make this buzz cut look right. Number 1, his skull shape being just more prolonged, and number 2, his skull shape being too narrow for his length. Obviously when he grows his hair longer, especially on sides, he can compensate for that skull shape asymmetry much better. However, when he buzzes his hair short, it's gonna highlight these asymmetries further, which in turn doesn't make him look as attractive anymore. If we compare him to somebody with his skin type, hair type, or even the same eye color like Brad Pitt or Jake Gyllenhaal, we'll quickly notice that number 1, their lower 2 facial thirds are just more compressed compared to Ryan Gosling, which makes Ryan Gosling's eyes being positioned a little bit higher than they should be. Once we correct this imperfection, we immediately notice how the buzz cut just suits him better. The second thing will be the hairline. Jake Gyllenhaal and Brad Pitt has their hairlines naturally positioned lower compared to Ryan Gosling. If we correct that, we also notice how Ryan Gosling starts already looking better with a buzzed head. And with Brad Pitt having even more dominant and prominent jawline, they're both able to pull off that buzz cut or shaped head look better compared to Ryan Gosling. And although Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't have such a good jawline shape as Brad Pitt, his lower third is still more spread out at the bottom compared to Ryan Gosling because he has a very narrow jawline. So unless he grows a beard or adds more hair on top, which could take the attention away from his narrow chin, he's not gonna have the most optimal look for himself. The top 2 guy voted as the sexiest man alive back in 2013, it's Adam Levine. This guy is absolutely killing it with hair, okay? I don't know how this guy is doing it when he has hair, but somehow he's able to portray what most women would say it is a handsome and good looking guy. His other strong points are that he's looking fit and tall and actually has a slightly better developed facial hair compared to Ryan Gosling, for example. However, they have one similarity and it would be a prolonged head shape. And this is, in my opinion, again, the main reason for Adam Levine why he's not able to pull off that buzz cut look as much as other guys are able to do. Now, one advantage his skull shape has compared to Ryan Gosling, for example, would be that his forehead is actually sloping. However, Ryan Gosling's forehead is quite straight, and that could add on to that big forehead appearance when many guys shave their heads and make these jokes about their forehead becoming a 5 head. Now, if we add a little bit more of his hair on top, it's gonna already look better. I just don't know what that thing is that doesn't make his appearance stand out so much when his head is like completely shaved. So comment below, guys, what do you think is the thing that doesn't make Adam Levine stand out as much when his head is like completely shaved? Just don't think how this look would win the Sexiest Man in the World title. And now let's come to the top one celebrity who is, in my opinion, having the toughest time trying to pull off the same level of attractiveness and charisma without his hair compared to when he has hair. And it's Hugh Jackman, in my opinion. He was awarded the Sexiest Man Alive title in 2008, prevalently for his X-Men appearances and also him being in his prime in terms of his age, attractiveness. Obviously during the time when people were voting for him to become the number one in this category, he had his hair. However, if he doesn't have hair, the situation changes for him drastically, in my opinion. And obviously the most pictures that you find of him online with the shaved head are these ones with that weird mustache. But also if you take a look at some without the mustache, it's still not the same Hugh Jackman type of charisma we would expect of him from like X-Men movie with his longer hair and smile. Now, I also did not really know why this bald head look makes him look so bad. Despite of not being like an unattractive guy in terms of his face, he's tall, he's athletic. I was just scratching my head and I didn't really know what that thing is. I think some of us guys have a particular type of eyes to us that really go with hair, and if we don't have hair, it's just not gonna make our face stand out as much. That's the only thing I can see here. Now, the reason I decided to do this video in the first place was actually to show you guys that even the guys who are at the top in terms of status, money and looks and being perceived by society as attractive and popular can still suck with a bald head, as many of us normal guys. So that's normal to not look ideal or optimal if you have no hair, because it's hard. It's really hard unless you have a deep voice of Vin Diesel,
Never did a movie in multiple languages,
height and build of The Rock, and the face of Brad Pitt or somebody who is really attractive. However, if you are somebody like me who thinks that the hair is important to have in your life and you want to get that hair to the next level with a hair transplant and reverse your hair loss, then make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can inform yourself more about how I can help you out with these things in person. Avoid a failed or unnatural hair transplant. Receive best recommendations on clinics, doctors. Avoid wasting your time with treatments that don't work while your hair loss keeps on progressing further, and receive my opinion on your hair situation.